What's that hum?
You had to bring that up now.
I think it's the light.
The Bunker Project podcast episode number 40.
No, it's 41, dude. It is. We did 40 last week. It's 41. Even on the show notes, it was 40. But that's a great intro. I love it. So let's keep going.
All right,
Dave?
we're going to keep going.
Excellent.
Episode 41. Hey, dude, I just asked you if it was 40, and you said, yeah, right before the show.
I lied because I wanted you to blow it.
All right.
That's the type of guy I am. I am a lying, sneaky dude when it comes to numbers. Ask my accountant.
Okay, so we got here a little bit late, and we started even later. Apologize to everybody here for being a little bit late.
Hey, I was here at
starting the
5.
show. It's
so
true.
6, 7, I've been here 3 hours. Holy cow. And I've only had 2 drinks. That's the shocking thing. I'm on my second beer, maybe my third.
Yeah, but look at the size of that drink.
Is this my third beer? I think it's 3 already. Through
I
1
don't
an
think
hour,
so.
that's not bad. So, anyway,
So
so Slim Pickens, we got a big game happening. Well, it's not that big a game, but
It's huge. Don't lie.
well, you know, if they win, they still got 3 more games. They got to win, right?
2
more games.
2 more games.
All right.
Western Conference Final. Vancouver, San Jose.
I know, and it's
City's
awesome.
Crazy.
We're talking about hockey, by the way, for the people that follow the ice cold sport. Anyway, so we got 3 people in today instead of the 10 people that said they were going to come, which isn't surprising. Plus, we had a bunch of new mics, and we got like so much equipment here, it's overkill. And we couldn't get 4 of the mics to work. So our cool idea didn't really pan out. So I'll have to do some technical research on that next week. So hopefully when we get a bunch of Mavens back in the bunker in 3 weeks, we'll have all sorts of mics for everybody, which is really what we want. Plus, we got another headphone amp. All this stuff is courtesy of Wix because they're sponsoring us. It's excellent. Thank you, Wix.
Wix, for people who don't know, it's the number one way to develop, or the most popular way to develop a website online.
Yeah, I know. It's
Do-it-yourself website.
easy peasy lemon squeezy, as they say.
You don't need to know any code. There you are.
So that was just me leaning into the camera. We got to get more cameras. That's the next thing we got to get. Oh, and we got to get a computer with 4 USB inputs, 1 USB per camera, and then we can have 4 cameras here. Rockin'.
Oh, yeah.
We actually have the cameras. We got extension cables coming in from Hong Kong or
I
Singapore.
don't think that extension cable works.
Oh, really? What do you mean? We can't see anything?
On camera, too.
All right, let's just get some technical stuff. We're going to fix camera 2.
All right, we'll leave it. Doesn't matter.
I'm going to fix it live. This is Bobby fixing it live. Anyway, so let's start off the show to get our vast audience to
Our
log
resident
in.
mavens here.
Yeah, resident. Oh, sorry. That's me grunting, pulling out that very stiff cable. Try that. Still not working.
It'll work. It'll pop up.
Oh, yeah. Okay, cool. So let's start with Satomi. Is she going to jump in there and do a little quiet intro?
Oh, well, I'm here learning about podcasting, and yeah, it's a lot of challenges, but I'm still encouraged, and I'm going to master this, and that's what keeps me going.
Yeah, so you got an art podcast that you do. You go out and interview cool artists. You had a technical problem the other day with batteries, I hear.
Yes.
What happened?
Well, we were having the conversation, and then about a third way through, the sound just started fading away.
Yeah, so when that's a good tip for people that are podcasting. If you've got a powered unit with obviously a battery to power it, make sure you have a spare battery and watch your levels. When you're interviewing somebody, good technique is you ask them a question, and then you look at because you don't really have to be listening to them for looking at them when you're listening, you can look at your stuff like your mic levels and see if they're going down. If they're going down, you stop the interview, switch out the batteries, start the interview up, and then you can edit it later.
But how do you know the battery?
Because you'll be able to see the levels. On your recording device, it'll have that level thing. You know that black line that goes up and up and up? It would have got shorter and smaller. And you'd, hey, hang on, something's going on here. Usually when you have a decrease in volume, it's a battery issue, right? Same thing with checking the battery on the recording device. If that device has a battery mark and it's only got 1 bar, you say, you know what, let's stop the interview. I'm going to switch out with some spare batteries just to get it up, and then we're going to start the interview again. And what I do with my podcasts, especially with my book review, I edit it. So I tell that to people before I start. So you can say, hey, by the way, I'll be asking you some questions. Sometimes I'll be looking at the equipment just to make sure the levels means I'm still listening to you. I'm just doing technical stuff. And then they go, oh, okay, fine. Now, do you have a set of headphones that you use?
Mics.
But you have a mic, but you have a headset.
No, I
right?
don't.
So that's another thing you might want to consider. Say, hey, I'm going to put some headphones on just so I can monitor the sound. And
Oh yeah, that's
blah, blah, blah.
crucial.
That way you could hear the sound going down too. Say, well, hang on, the volume is going down. What's going on?
Then instead of wasting
yes.
half an hour, 45 minutes on an awesome interview,
Yes.
Yeah.
you would know right away there's a problem.
Yeah,
Okay.
and you wouldn't have to
Yeah.
send it to Bob for
Yeah.
Bob to fix it. I
Yeah.
mean, it's
So
a testament to that
That's
software.
right. So
Actually.
this is the reason I come to these podcasts, to learn and get practice. And if I have any difficulties, I just have to come and I get all my answers here.
Yeah,
Thank
that's
you.
fine.
Thank you, guys. My mentors.
Well, it's like getting custom answers. Like it's like a Genius bar.
Yes.
very fun. Very
Invaluable.
fun.
Invaluable.
I don't know. Maybe the two of us combined, we could be a half a genius, or like a quarter genius, full genius, 3/4 genius. Well,
Right.
3 or 4 black beers, you lose
James
your
is
genius
laughing,
edge.
Our game maven.
The game maven with his killer Vegas glasses on. Would you call those motorcycle cop glasses or Elvis 70s glasses?
He could be an Elvis.
Thank you very
impersonator.
much.
I could actually be an Elvin impersonator. Yes, thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Come up, peanut butter and banana sandwiches, and
Did
come
he
on.
like peanut butter banana sandwiches?
oh yeah, the king loved peanut butter and banana sandwiches.
Dude, the cocktail maven
Cocktail Maven
arrives. Dude, we have been plagued with technical problems. We just got started. Unbelievable. We're like 5 minutes into the show. And piles of equipment that doesn't work. Piles of equipment that doesn't work. So that's okay.
But these are actually Hawaiian glasses, because you know how much King loved Hawaii.
Ah, okay.
Because
Okay.
I bought them in Hawaii.
Hey, you thinking of starting maybe doing an app like the Elvis app?
That'd be kind of alright, yeah.
Yeah, do the Elvis app. Because when you talk into it, it would distort your voice and make you sound like Elvis. So, the Elvis translator.
Kind of like I am T-Pain, I guess.
Or you could just do something like the pirate translator. It'd be the Elvis translator. You talk to the, hi, how you doing? And they were like,
Oh, yeah.
hey, how you doing?
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
you
And we
very
just add that stuff afterwards.
We could just do a soundboard.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Just like plugs your stuff in, puts it into an extra.
Well,
Very
we'll have
nice
to-
app,
we'll have to
99
look into
cents.
it. We'll have to look into it.
Yep, exactly.
But
Exactly.
But I am the gaming maven.
He's the gaming maven.
Yeah.
So what have you been maving about recently? Maven and a waving.
Playing Call of Duty with the new Escalation map pack. And
Whoa. Escalation Mac. Okay.
Escalation map pack.
Oh, okay. What's the heck's that all about, man?
Well, they first, after a couple months of Call of Duty, they had the First Strike map pack, and the beer has fallen. Uh-oh.
That was the first casualty.
That was the first strike.
We got it on film. Awesome.
That was the first casualty.
Nice.
That's
So-
why we're streaming.
So Satomi got the first strike, but
Excellent.
so that was the second map pack called Escalation, and it's 4 new maps plus a zombie map called Call of the Dead, which has George Romero in it. Actually,
Really?
yeah.
Does he play a zombie
Wow.
or
He is the zombie
He
director,
is the zombie director.
and along with Sarah Michelle Gellar, Danny Trejo, Robert Englund, and some other guy. But those are the characters you play, and it's like they're on a haunted movie set or something like that. So,
Wow.
Cool.
yeah, it's kind of interesting. It's different.
Do you think with people, the millions and millions of people that do, or the hundreds of millions of people that do games now, do you think it's more important for an actor's career to get into some games, or even like an athlete to get into some games, to be recognized and brand themselves, more than actually getting into an A movie?
It didn't bring Mark Hamill back.
No. Well, Mark
only
Hamill's
so much
never
games can
left.
do.
Mark Hamill's never left, though.
They've asked him to leave several times. He refuses. I
He's
think
been pretty good, but I think,
Is it Mark Hamill in a game?
yeah, actually, he was in Batman last time as the Joker during Arkham Asylum.
Ah.
So a lot of
There you
people
go.
probably didn't know about that, but
No, I certainly didn't. I didn't even know they had a Batman game.
yeah, it's amazing. Arkham Asylum, it's pretty good, and
Yeah?
pretty soon there'll be I think it's Arkham City or
Huh.
something like that. Yeah, and it's done by Rocksteady, which is it's pretty cool actually.
Yeah.
It's really brought Batman back to the height of video games. So But in relation to your question, though, I think that it's a boon for a person that is a celebrity to get into a game for sure.
What about a professional athlete? I think that's huge.
It is huge, especially if they're a cover athlete, like the Madden series or NHL or anything like that. I mean, most of my hockey knowledge actually comes from playing the game. If I didn't play the game, I probably wouldn't know half the players that were actually good. So, yeah.
Well, I remember back in the day, this is like way back in the day, when you were a professional athlete, if you did a Schick foam or Schick shaving ad, that was the big leagues. Then, if you were like the baseball guy chewing some gum and you say, I use Schick foam, it's awesome. That was it. I mean, that's as good as you can get. Nowadays, it's like, I want to do the game, man. The hell with the Schick stuff.
Well, if you're Shaun White and, you're like the best snowboarder in the world, you get your own video game. So, or Tony Hawk or any of those guys in the extreme sports.
That's true.
Place totally gets their own stuff. And
but it would be like,
Wheatie Box was pretty good too.
The thing is that those guys have a huge following, and they've got like a tribe that's like, oh, Tony Hawk's, man, we got to get that game. So their brand is strong. But like a player or an athlete that isn't recognized, getting on a game and then suddenly being a superstar because everybody's suddenly aware of them. It's like, wow, this is the fastest guy in the world. This guy's amazing running back, and then they watch him on the CFN or the NFL, and it actually pushes him in the game. So, yeah. Totally.
There's been quite a few times where professional athletes have kind of argued with EA over their ratings. And being like, I think I'm a little faster than you've made me out to be, or, stronger. So,
and you know what they say? So, we're waiting for the the testosterone pack.
Well, they're waiting for that athlete to actually, do something. So,
Yeah. Huh. Neat. So that ramble brought to you by the gaming. We're going to actually talk about games later in the day.
And we got our marketing maven here.
Yeah, marketing maven. So jump right on that mic and let's do a little quick intro. Dude, you got to get right on that mic, like an inch away.
Right up here?
No, you're still far away.
Okay, so I'm right up here.
Yeah. Do you want me to adjust the mic without spilling the beer, I promise?
Can you do that?
Yeah. We should.
That's a sound effect of somebody blowing their nose. Oh, nice.
That's
honker. I've always wanted to do that. Do you have to have a special apparatus or an operation to get that honk effect?
Yeah, you really do. And you have to hang out with Canada Geese.
Well, they get the volume, definitely.
They get the volume. Okay, so how's that?
Beautiful. Yeah, right on there.
Good.
He's a pro.
Yes, he's getting good.
What do you need?
Well, we need name, what you love to do, and then we'll chat about your subject of choice during the show.
All right. My name is Neil Godden. And what do I love to do? I love to market dangerously.
Right now, is that like what? You run around naked when you're marketing?
Yeah, that's part of it.
It's like a nightmare of...
Yeah. I saw his seminar on, was it Lululemon?
Oh, yeah.
That was an example you used on marketing dangerously.
Yeah, they had a gal... Well, now that was that Lululemon, or was that was a fashion shop on Main Street here in Vancouver?
On 4th, wasn't it?
It was an underwear fashion show?
Oh, right, it was Lululemon.
Yeah, it was Lululemon.
Yeah, there was two different stories. One of them was Lululemon, and if you showed up buck naked, then you got to
free lingerie.
Yeah, not free lingerie, free yoga outfit. And they had something like 200 ladies. And
turn up naked?
Most of them showed up with a raincoat or something, but absolutely starkers.
Wow. Right? How come I never get invited to those parties? What's going on? I'm talking to my publicist tomorrow.
Right.
Dude, what's with the naked parties I haven't been invited to?
They got coverage on like the New York Times. And,
absolutely.
All over the world.
So that's marketing dangerously, and it's fun.
Yep, it's marketing on the edge.
Yeah.
I'd love to do stuff like that, but most bra sizes don't fit.
Yeah,
I'm too big.
I can see that.
So that's what my wife says.
Yeah, you'd have to have a bra with one cup, and it would have to be lower.
Yeah, well, I want a man's ear. That was my favorite show in Seinfeld when they did the man's ear.
Right.
It was the bro.
Right.
The bro.
It was the bro.
No, it was a man's ear. They used a man.
That was the argument. It was either a man's ear or a bro, and it was the bro.
Bro's cool. I could see coming with buy a 6-pack, get the bro.
Well, after the 6-pack.
You might need one, right? Yeah, as I tell you.
Yeah.
Anyway, cool. Excellent. So we'll come back to marketing in a little bit. And then we've got the cocktail maven who is just looking a little forlorn. He's got like a pile of equipment in front of him, none of it plugged in. And he's struggling with what looks like something that's semi-healthy. Oh yeah, it's one of those Mediterranean wrap things. Falafel. It says oh, that's not falafel. What's that? You got like a gyro or something? Huh? A donair. He's got it. God, look at this. He's Maven. He is on top of everything he sticks in his mouth.
Where'd you get the donair?
Just down the road at the donair shop. Yeah, he's like, I used to go there. Awesome.
Where is it?
I told you about it, man. I said, man, you got to check out that great donair place. It's like $6.95 for the falafel. It's not a bad deal. Yeah, we can't hear you. No, there's just this distinct.
Thanks for voting us the best donair.
No.
I was looking for in what magazine and where that was actually published.
Oh man, yeah. Is it self-proclaimed?
Now,
So it's a
is that-
self-proclaimed best
is that
in the
marketing
Vancouver.
dangerously?
That's marketing
Self.
dangerously, for sure.
Well, there's a guy, Norm Friend, in town, and he says he is Canada's what is it? Best franchise advisor.
Number one.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Voted
Canada's
number
leading.
one. Yeah, well, anyways, and I said, well, that's amazing. Well, it doesn't exist. Because I made it up, I have to be number one.
Well, of course.
So, so it makes sense. It's the perception that people have. They fill in the blanks for you. So, interesting stuff. Dude, we're going to have to get you a mic. He's coming over. Now he's finished dinner. He just didn't want to garlic people or anything.
He gets to sit next to Neil.
All right. So,
Cool.
so we're back to the sharing mics thing. And I put in my weird mic apparatus that was actually made from one of those. This is the early days for me when I was into podcasting starting out. And that's one of the things you should do in podcasts is don't spend a ton of money on equipment until you really realize you're addicted to it. And then do it. So I went to a secondhand store and I found one of, those desk lamps, those fancy desk lamps that are long, and it's got the long, what do you call it, light bulbs in it. We'll take a picture of it and show you on the show notes. But anyways, I disassembled it and then just drilled a hole in a mic clasp, attached it, spray painted it black, and then put a little bit of foam at the bottom, and it works awesome.
Yeah, it looks
and it
cool
looks
too.
cool too.
I thought it was one of those old telephones from the 20s.
Yeah, it could be. It's got a very retro feel. Anyways, there you go. You can always improvise or shop at Musicians Friends, which stuff. A stand. What do you get? Like 2 stands for $19. I mean, God, you can't even buy the material for less than $40.
Yeah, well,
So, it's ridiculous.
The microphones with the stand and the XLR cable is the price of the XLR cable
Here in Canada.
at Tom Lee Music.
Oh yeah.
So
Yeah.
unbelievable.
But you gotta it's the price you pay for living in Canada. All you lucky guys in the States. Now, I'd like to know how much does audio equipment cost in Australia? We haven't done a big shout out to our biggest fan in Australia with an amazing daughter and a lovely wife. He started his own podcast. I've listened to it a couple times. Have you listened to his podcast?
No, I haven't.
Yeah, it's awesome.
It's on my list of
He's got very good interviews. So
Craig Griffiths.
thank you.
Yeah.
Greg Griffith's new show. We'll put that in the notes. You go check it out. Quite impressed with the people that he interviews in the show. He does a really good job. He's a bit of a techie, bit of a nerd. He was a coder and tends to go on the technical side. So some of the people he's interviewed, awesome. So check that out. And they got these cool Australian accents. I think they use a special filter to get that accent. I'm not sure, but it's neat. I'd like to get that filter too. The Australian show.
All right, mate.
Yeah, let's go
All
out
right,
and
mate.
crack a few tubes, mate.
Yeah.
Anyways, big shout out to him. And he, every now and again he asks about some stuff. But I remember we were talking in a show how to fix. We use dynamic mics, which means that
Oh yeah, that was the what's his name?
The Box solution.
The man with the golden voice.
the man with the golden voice. Yes,
We're talking
that's
about
our audio maven.
Dynamic mics versus condenser mics.
Yeah.
And he had devised this box that you put around the condenser mic.
Yep.
And that blocks out all the ambient noise around it.
Yeah, you put some styrofoam in it. And
Creates a directional mic, basically.
yeah. So Craig,
He made one.
yeah, but he made it out of old T-shirts. Very Australian.
Oh.
So he had like a box, stuffed it full of some old T-shirts. I think he washed the shirts first, but we're not sure. Stuck the mic in, and then he said it works fantastic because there's no directional stuff. It gets all baffled around. So that's a great way to fit. If there are some great deals on condenser mics out there because people buy a condenser mic, like really nice, sexy condenser mic, and then not understand that it picks up all this sound and hate it and then flog it off for like, $50-$60. So personally, I wouldn't even go near a condenser mic. They're just, unless you're doing mobile interviews where you're clipping onto somebody, you just need that ambient feel. But really, a dynamic mic will do you a lot better than a condenser mic.
Yeah,
anytime.
Unless you're really going to spend the money and build a professional sound studio, soundproof sound studio, and treated room, sound-treated room.
Wasn't there a podcast that spent $75,000 on his podcast setup? Like, ridiculous. Yeah. He had a sound, like $1,000 mic, and I mean, geez,
more than $1,000.
Give it a break.
You can
spend $2,500.
Sky's the limit. You can spend that much on just a mic.
Well, actually, I know an audiophile on the island, and he bought a wide diameter condenser mic, which is tube driven, right? He had a tube in it, and he went, and it was like $800 for the mic, and then he spent. No, it was a $600 mic. That's it, $600 mic. The tube in it, he took the tube out and he bought an $800 replacement tube to put in the mic. The tube cost more than the bloody mic. But he said it's as good as like a $2,500 mic now. It only cost him $1,200, $1,300. So yeah, it's like anything. If you get into audio, if you know any audiophile people, you understand it. But if you never met somebody that's an audiophile, you can spend an infinite amount of money just on the stereo system. He said, I've got my Macintosh amp, and of course, it's monoblocks, and then we got the really nice $4,000 speakers per unit, it's ridiculous.
It really comes down to splitting hairs at a certain point, though, because going from, say, a $200 mic to a $2,000 mic, there's a difference in the quality of the mic, but really in the quality of a podcast episode. It sounds better, but not the same thing as going from a cheap USB mic to, say, a Shure Beta or a Heil. Go to a Heil PR40. That's as expensive as you ever need to go in podcasting to get a good sound.
Yeah.
And really, you're not going to hear the difference. Most people won't even hear the difference between a Nady SP1 that we have here and a Shure, but a podcaster will hear the difference. Someone who's used to playing with audio will hear the difference.
Yeah, once you start playing with audio, I mean, like Satomi, she's starting to play with mics, and now it's like a photographer. They become very conscious of light, and people that get into recording become very conscious of sound. People that are gaming mavis, they get very conscious of interfaces and the way the structure of the game works and the sociological ramifications of the game, blah, 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 blah. You've heard it all here in the bunker from one of our famous maimans.
I don't know if they care about all that stuff, but as long as it plays well,
depends
it
how
isn't
sober
buggy.
they are, right?
Most people, it's just like, is the game fun? Is it not buggy? Those are the two big
Yeah, but if you're a developer, you get all anal about that type of stuff, right?
Not really. I mean, you're more like just...
You must have met
splitting
some
hairs and stuff. Yeah.
I bet you there's some guys. Well, I'd love to code the game, but I need that $6,000 computer to code the game. Dude, it's code. It doesn't make any difference.
Some guys do that, but that's because they just want a better computer.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
I was like that. Hey, I remember when back in the good old days when I was creative director, I'd always get the best computer. And the argument was, look, you pay me all this money. I cost a ton of money every second that I'm here. Give me the fastest computer because I can push that computer to the limit. And I could. I mean, I would like push it and push and push. That was back in the day you can actually crash a Mac because there was like, you had like 90 megahertz or whatever. I crashed it. Took me 15 minutes. Hey, speaking of crashing.
I think the Canucks just scored another goal.
Well, nah, it wasn't loud. I think they
No,
they
they
didn't
totally
score.
did.
Really?
They totally
so it's
did.
probably like 4.
I heard that. Yeah!
Well, it could have been somebody just checked him really hard.
No. They have the goal.
Oh, yeah?
line,
Oh,
too.
yeah? Okay.
Yeah.
All
We
right.
should mic out that room. Anyways, hey, that was a digression, man.
I don't have any
Awesome.
beer.
Jeez.
Me either, actually.
Well, it's because the
Cocktail
game's
Maven.
playing.
Is that why the sunglasses came off?
Yeah. No, the sunglasses came
fisticuff.
off because all of a sudden Bob was talking about something. I'm like, wait a second.
Wait a second. I can't think if I got my sunglasses on.
It's like the gloves coming off, eh?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Something
Right,
like
sure.
that.
We
it's like if Corey
typically
Hart-
go on a digression, and then when we do go on a digression, that's like a
Drink.
drinking game. You have to take a drink.
We did one podcast, and it was a complete digression. The whole show, I don't think we got to any notes. Like I spent like literally 6 hours to put these notes together. And one show, I was like, wow, we touched on 2 or 3 things. Most
Bob,
of it was...
we haven't touched the notes yet this show.
I know, it's awesome. I love it. I'm
But,
saving these for next week.
Nice.
'Cause
I've just got
they're
one more
pretty
thing
skinny.
to say about the whole mic issue, and that
fine.
that is it's not really necessarily the mic or your equipment or anything else. It's your recording levels, and that's something that you can do in post production. It won't sound as good if you do it just in post production without a good mic, but if you've got a show and you don't test it yourself, get out on the street and listen to the show. Go on the SkyTrain and listen to the show and see how it sounds, because that's where people are going to be listening to your show. And if they can't hear it, they're probably going to be,
You're talking
moving
about
on to the next show.
the overall volume. So when, you're right.
the
You've
audio
got to have a
levels.
loud show. If you have like a really quiet show.
It's better to have it too
No,
loud and then have to turn it down than to have it cranked
But
up
not
full
so
and
loud
be
that you're
able to hear it.
distorting. I mean, that's why
No.
you got a peak limiter
you
in.
don't, you don't want to be distorting.
But
You're
it's
right.
hard to do. It's hard to really mess up with the software that's out there these days.
Yeah.
I think the other thing, too, is, you can have the most expensive mic in the world, but if you don't know how to use the mic, if I'm way back here and talking, then I just get a bunch of echo and stuff because the mic's picking up all the bounce. If I'm right here, then it's really solid. You get much more bass. Up here, I sound a lot more nasally. A little bit here, I don't say nasal. I got a really nasal voice. But if
kinda
you're
like
right,
breast implants.
I am so on top of this mic. My lips are almost touching. It's not like I'm a half a centimeter away from the mic. And that is really where you get a really, really nice roll-off. And that will increase the quality. You can have a lousy snowball mic and come up really tight on it and bring down your gain and get really punchy sound out of that mic. Or you can have a $1,400 mic and be a foot away from it and get lousy sound. So it's how you play the mic. It's how you get right on top of it. The other thing that's nice, if you're right on top of your mic, then your volume, your gain goes down. You don't have to have it on, at 0. You can have it cranked down a little bit. So when you're not talking, the mic doesn't pick up all the ambient noise, doesn't pick up the hum of your computer, doesn't pick up your kids running around in the house if you're doing it at home, or the train going by. I mean, you get a little bit of that, but hardly anything. I mean, we got a huge crowd in the background, and when they cheer, you'll be able to hear it, but that's nothing compared if we had condenser mics here. We'd be picking up everything.
You hear every little bit.
Exactly. So that makes a big difference. Let's jump right over to the Cocktail Maven. I sent him a cool link earlier in the week. He got really excited about it. Speaking about coming too much on the mic, that mic went right up your nose, man. It was outrageous. Yeah. Anyways, so tell us a bit about that poster. What did you think of it?
I thought that was great. I want to get one.
Yeah,
I'm
totally.
gonna
Did you
pin
see the
it-
close-ups?
I'm going to pin it to my ceiling above my bed, so when I go to bed at night, I
Yeah, as it bring
study
girls over, that man
cocktails.
just look at that man. Oh man, it's so turned on. Yeah, just call yourself a Gimlet. Oh Gimlet. Oh Gimlet. Yeah, why do you keep calling me drink names? Can't you just call me by my real name? But the
so
design.
how did you find it?
I stumble upon. I did 45 minutes of stumble upon today. I was testing.
I got you addicted.
Well, I had a new
man.
router. My router was like really messed up. My D-Link, which by the way, D-Links suck. But I had another one backed up. I plugged it in, and I wanted just to see if I could make it slow down like my other one was doing to make sure it was working. And I did 45 minutes of like click, 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 click. And I would stop every now and again if I saw them really hot. And that was one of them. And I was on that. It was like good for 5 minutes of stickiness. It was so good. The poster is brilliantly designed as a way to communicate how a drink's made. So it had a beautiful illustration of a glass, and then the glass had proportionate colors representing the different alcohols in it. But what was neat about it, if it had 3 ice cubes in it, depending on the type of drink, it would have different opacity. Really, really nice. And then it had the mixing for the different types of drinks. It had these little droplet icon. And so if it was a splash of Coke, it had this little, looked like a droplet. But if you zoomed in and looked at it, it actually had the little bubbles that you would have in a real Coke. It was amazing. We'll put a link on
Now,
because
there was also a circle on there. Was that the order in which you mix, or
I
didn't
think that
quite
was
understand what that-
percentages. Could have been
Okay.
order. It could have been percentages. Yeah. I mean, really, there was so much information in a relatively succinct poster, and it had a lot of drinks. I mean, all the classics.
Yes.
So what was your favorite?
I saw the Gimlet.
Yeah, Gimlet. Yeah, that's a pretty
there
simple
was
drink.
one on there that I unfortunately don't remember the name of. Something
Because you probably
Jamaican.
mixed it up and drank it.
Yeah.
Drank it, yeah. What one really surprised me that it was the Harvey Wallbanger or the Long Island iced tea. One of the two. It said a splash of Coke. Just a very little bit of Coke. Never heard about that. So it sounds like they're pretty sophisticated recipes.
That's a Long Island iced tea.
Yeah, with a splash of Coke on the top.
Yep. Yeah.
There you go.
A great bar in Vancouver, if you like more classic cocktails, is the Lobby Lounge at
Lobby
at
Lounge
the
is so
Fairmont.
really.
And they've got a lot of drinks that you don't really find on bar menus anymore, and that are maybe a little bit more international. For instance, one of my favorites, which I've mentioned before on the show, is the Dark and Stormy.
Nice, they do that one.
Yep,
Yeah,
I remember
you
that
drink
one.
a lot in the Caribbean, and if you hang out with sailors and you do a lot of sailboat racing, you'll know all about.
Hey, what do you do
Dark
with a
and
drunken
Stormies.
sailor?
I don't know what.
Is it like this?
Well, that's a song, though. That's
yeah, dun, dun, dun,
I'm
dun.
waiting for the punchline. I thought
Yeah,
it
it's
was a joke.
like,
I don't know. That's the Great Big Sea wondered. They wondered, what do you do with the drunken sailor?
That's what. Yeah. You got. Oh, hey.
Aw.
You got.
Aw.
You got to split.
Aw.
Oh yeah, we started too late. We didn't get a chance to talk. Do you want to talk about marketing for about 10 minutes or 5 minutes? Or you really got to run?
No, I've got 5.
Oh, 5
Sure.
minutes. Okay, great. For our listening audience, if they have a business or something they want to promote, what is the top 5 tips that they should participate in every day?
Well, gee, the top 5. My gosh.
Or the top 3, if that's easier.
Well, here we are talking about social media tonight, and including podcasting and so on and so on. And I think, getting on the wave.
Sorry, that's our. Oh, that's even Elvis. His phone.
Oh,
That's awesome.
That's his alarm. That's
Oh.
awesome.
Yeah, speaking of, and that's my social media maven trying to call me on my iPhone. Obviously, I think we have to catch the wave. It's happening, man. So I really think that spending 10 minutes a day doing social media, like actually doing it, not just self-promotion, but engaging and
Start the conversations.
yeah,
Nice.
I think that's really important.
Okay, so that's number 1.
Number 1. Number 2, it's not just about marketing, whether you're talking about social media or whatever it is, but my gosh, if you want to keep the things rolling, if you're in business for yourself, you got to be making networking sales calls every day. I don't mean old-fashioned cold calls. I hate that.
Yeah.
Never recommend that. But talking to people who know people that you should be talking to every single day. When you do that, and nobody does, you cut yourself from the crowd. Just like you cut yourself from the crowd when you're doing social media every day, right? Then you got to look at your website. And I mean really look at your web, but really, actually look at your website. Is it a brochure site, or is it like a newspaper display ad with an offer and a deadline and a call to action, a 1-800 number? And is it a marketing and sales machine, or is it just a brochure that's laying there passively on the website? So every day you've got to have a look at it. How can I freshen it up? How can I add some zip to it? What about some urgency? Right? What am I doing up there? Right?
Nice.
So those would be my top 3 for right now.
Yeah. Well, those are pretty solid, and in those 3, there are lots of little things that you could be doing. Oh, it sounds like they scored again.
They may
This
have
is a
scored.
high scoring game.
And
All right,
what
excellent.
about, Neil, what about your social marketing challenge? Why don't you tell us a little bit
Yeah,
about that?
that's an
Oh,
awesome challenge.
that's a lot of fun. Working with Jonathan Christian, my colleague, and Leah Huda, my daughter, who is our database maven. About a year ago, at least a year ago, we decided that we would challenge ourselves to get really active with social media by doing something every day for 90 days, 90 business days. And in our Marketing Dangerously blog and newsletter, every business day for 90 days, we would do something, and we would challenge our followers, our subscribers, to do something. Whether it's to really get on doing your company page on Facebook and so on, and how to get those first 25 likes, and then how to ramp it up to 200 and on from there, and then what to do with it. For example, treating each platform in social media like another database. Now, what are you going to do with that database? Who are those people? What have you got for them? Why? How can you keep them interested? So we did that for 90 days, and people liked it so much we never quit. Now we have the Marketing Dangerously Social Media Challenge, and it goes on and on. Like you guys, we have a meetup every month, and always just a full house. And we invite people to join us by simply going to marketingdangerously.com, sign on with us, sign on for the newsletter. It's free. Come out to our meetups. They're free. We're just helping ourselves, helping our clients, and helping the people that we know to really get familiar with social media.
You know, it's interesting. That's a classic freemium model where you educate, you give. And people are so appreciative that when you do come up with a product or anything, they're actually glad to buy it and give you some money.
Absolutely. Yeah, but first you give, then you get.
Absolutely. And you give and you give and you give and you keep giving. And
That's
if you
right.
get, you give like crazy after that.
Absolutely.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, and my colleague Jonathan Christian does this beautifully. He's become more than me the social media thought leader out in the Fraser Valley where we're located, and probably beyond now. I'm, to be honest with you, still really getting into the ritual of working the social media every day. It's not easy.
Nope.
You know, and so
Well,
I have a lot of empathy for people that may be listening to this podcast who are having trouble getting really engaged and involved. The big advice that I would give you is take a big breath. It's not going away. Just do it.
It's a marathon, isn't it? It's not a sprint.
That's right.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, that's awesome. Thanks for dropping by, and love to have you back again. We can talk marketing.
We'll be back.
Excellent. Excellent.
So will Arnie.
Yeah, bring some friends.
Well, sure.
Yeah, well, by that time, we'll have more mics.
You bet. Thanks a lot for doing this.
All right.
Okay.
Ciao.
Arnold,
right.
Arnold might not be back.
He might not be back.
I do not think Arnold is
Arnold
coming
will be back.
After
Kermit the Frog will be back before
He'll
Arnold.
be back in the movies.
Well, after his little, thing that happened recently.
On his little slip
Housemaid?
up, with the
Housemaid with the
housemaid.
kid.
So he won't be able
Yeah.
to make a movie again?
No, he'll make movies. It's just we'll see what the public's
Less
reaction
politics.
is. Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. I mean, if we had a president who was doing stuff like that. Well, we didn't, but
We
they
didn't,
did.
but they
Sorry.
did. Yeah.
I mean,
He was
in Canada,
popular.
do we actually, as politicians in Canada, do they get? Do they have sex scandals here, or that's just they're not up to it?
I don't think they
No
do.
pun intended.
No, they're usually pretty reserved.
Yeah, pretty reserved, pretty conservative. Of course,
Yeah.
that's why we've always got
Oh.
conservatives in there. Yeah.
Uh,
Maybe we should have we should have the sex crazed party. Maybe that would get in.
no,
You know, condom for everybody. Condom,
at least
free
it's
condom with
safe.
every vote.
it's pretty safe.
Oh, absolutely. Actually, there was a politician in Thailand called Michai, and he was Mr. Condom, and he pushed condoms like crazy there. He had a restaurant, and he had decorations made out of condoms. I mean, he went full on. He had free-range chickens in the backyard of the restaurant. It was awesome. You could go look at your dinner running across the thing. I mean, they didn't kill them in front of you, but very tasty chicken. But he was famous in Bangkok for promoting use of condoms. And Bangkok, all the prostitutes in Bangkok, you'd think Bangkok with that huge sex trade they have and the 800,000 bars that they have in that city, that they would have rampant AIDS and stuff like that. Yeah. 5-2.
Nice.
Oh, Buka.
Nice.
5-2
Those-
for
those-
the Canucks.
Those are big scores. Those are big numbers for hockey. Wow, big numbers.
It's big for the Canucks because
Yeah. Well, they can't count past 6, I think, so they're
Well,
in
a
trouble,
lot of their
right?
games have been 1-goal games.
What happens
lately.
after 6? I don't know, man. Should we stop playing? What's going on?
Makes me happy.
Yeah.
All right, so
Hey,
um,
anyways.
Beer would make me happy.
Yeah, so the punchline to that one was, you can use condoms in politics and get recognized.
I think they scored again.
Oh, man. 6-2.
well, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So the chroma key froze.
Okay, excellent. We still got 20 minutes. So shall we get into the show notes?
Let's
Jeez,
do it.
38 minutes in, it's like,
Burn through some of these
for
things here.
God's
We should
sake.
send the cocktail Maven out to get beer.
Oh, hey, hang on. Yeah, let's go, Cocktail Maven. Can you go score some beer, dude?
I just got here.
Yeah, well, that's good. Your feet haven't solidified like
Come
mine,
on,
man.
you just emptied
If
yours.
I stood up, I'd pass out from lack of
how many
oxygen
we
going
need?
to my
Just
brain.
how many
You
we need?
should have chose a different name. Cocktail-
Yeah, exactly.
Cocktail Maven.
Bartender
Black
Maven.
beer for Mara.
Oh,
Yeah, well, I'll
Do
go
we-
for my regular.
Beer
Having
noir.
met gimlets, do we want to go gimlets?
no.
No?
You can have a gimlet,
That was
dude.
committed.
Yeah, you can have a gimlet. You might get punched out by the bartender. Though. It's like,
Really?
you want a
They
gimlet?
don't
I'll show
do
you
that
a
here?
gimlet right between your eyes.
Go
No,
ask
chill,
her for
chill,
a Harvey
chill.
See what I can
Wallbanger.
scare up.
Go ask her for a Harvey Wallbanger.
Yeah.
See what she does.
Yeah, where's
to
that
them.
thumping sound? Harvey, boom, boom. I'm banging the wall with you.
Or ask her for a slow screw up against the wall.
She'd probably say, okay, but we'll have to do it in the back room at the break.
Yeah.
At halftime.
That was like my
What you
dad.
bing?
Yay.
Hey.
Yeah.
Hey, so let's talk about cocktails when he's not here. Yeah. Oh, sorry, we just used up all your content. So since we got the gaming maven here, I've got the trailer for a Paramount Pictures, The Adventures of Tintin. That looks awesome. And
Yeah, it
I
does.
thought they were going to do a cartoon version. But what's interesting in the trailer, Spielberg he's producing it or directing it or something like that. I didn't quite catch it, and I didn't rewind.
He's been doing that for a while.
But I remember him saying that I don't want to do it anymore. And for him to get on board and have his name there, like you a lot of watch movies and stuff like that. Spielberg doesn't come up a lot.
No, he doesn't.
He's been in the background, like way in the background, not even noticeable.
He's actually been working on games.
I think he's a big Tintin fan.
Oh, totally. Though.
Now, do you think? Now, my question is, awesome movie. Go check it out. We'll put a link for the trailer. Two things before we get into the game angle is number one, I thought it was going to be the Tintin cartoon, and it's full on realistic animation. So it looks like shot and. Do you think it's 100% animated?
Just like Avatar, they use
Combination
of
Really?
people to get the right movements and everything.
Yeah.
Very beautiful.
And so it's. But I saw that and I had to throw it in the show notes because I just remember as a kid reading those comics.
Oh, it looked
At school.
awesome. It looked
And,
awesome.
It looks visually stunning.
Oh, I like my favorite scene is that boat, the magical boat going through the desert with the waves and stuff. Very cool. Anyways,
Everybody's pretty excited about it.
do you think there's going to be a game?
Yeah, but they came out with the trailer
Probably.
7 months before the movie started.
They're
So
starting the hype.
They're hyping it.
It's for Christmas.
That's
Just like-
smart.
It's for Christmas.
Just like
Well, they got $1 billion
Lord of the Rings.
to spend on marketing, right? Usually they spend, if it costs $100 million to make the movie, there's $100 million for marketing. So they got some money to burn.
They do.
Man, that would be a great account.
But you need at least 7 months to really build up the hype.
Yeah, and I think they're targeting for Christmas because that is the ultimate of ultimates. These days,
For kids' movies.
well, that's a kids movie,
Yeah.
big time. It's an
Yeah.
edgy. I mean, it
And
would be
an
an
adult
edgy
movie,
kids
too.
movie, like
All the
What's-
grown-up
what's
kids will
that,
see it too.
what's that magical
Depends. I think that people that really enjoy the Avatar style, live action mixed with,
yeah. Well, Harry
Animation.
Potter.
that's going to do major.
Yeah, it's the last one.
Yeah,
It's the
that'll-
last one, and then I'm kind of tired of the series. I'm actually watching the Star Wars trilogy with my kids for the first time. I've introduced Star Wars to it.
Which trilogy?
The Star,
The-
no, it's Rockagy. I mean,
5, 6,
the Sixagy,
7.
the Sixagy, the Pentagy. Oh my goodness! Look at that talent.
Oh my God.
That is our super talented bartenderess
Yeah.
bringing in 3 beers with 2 hands. I mean, that takes time. These are
Aw.
big beers. They're half a gallon each here.
Oh,
What? Oh, yeah, absolutely. We'll give you glasses if you're full of beer. And she's walking out with 5. Awesome.
wow. Oh, and Andrew needs a beer.
Yeah, one more.
We love you, Ashley.
Yeah,
We
yeah.
love the
She,
den.
she handles that curtain really well. The den, yeah.
Back at
The
the,
den.
Formerly the bunker.
But yeah, I think they're probably going to make a game out of it. I wouldn't understand why
A
not.
game out of the den?
No. Well, actually, that would be a
That'd
good
be pretty
game.
cool too. Yeah,
That'd be an
yeah.
interesting game.
If you get to level 9, you get to actually do the podcast. part. Oh, I finally got to the
I
back.
finally got to the back room and I got
full
to
of
meet this guy
lunatics.
named Bob, and he gives me this secret microphone, and, and then that guy named Andrew is like massive, and
Oh, it's awesome. But then they never turn my mic on. And they ask me questions that are out of topic.
And forget to record.
Hey.
and forget to record.
Yeah, forget it. Speaking
Bob
of
did
which,
that once. Did you hear that on the?
oh yeah, and we kept it in. We didn't edit it out. Luckily we had 2 recorders going at once.
But Tintin looks cool. Yeah.
Yeah, that's going to be awesome. So definitely game. So my question is, what was the best movie game ever put out? Was the Star Wars series where they put out those awesome games? I mean, back in the day they were good. I mean, today they would suck, but they're pretty good. Yeah, dude, cocktail
I
maybe.
have a question that may sort of be part of that.
Well, get on the mic and we'll listen to
Game to movie or movie to game? Do you have an opinion on which works better? So, a game that got turned into a movie or a movie that got turned into a game? From a gaming perspective,
that's an
obviously,
easy
'cause
one.
I'm asking you. Is it?
you. Yeah, it's almost. Well, I would say there's 3. There's game to movie, or book to movie. Right? Or if it's movie to book or movie to game, it's the same thing. Usually if it's a movie goes to a book, it's crap book because it's basically the movie script rewritten. It's a thin book. Same with the game. It's like, okay, there's not a lot of plot in there.
I'm with Bob. I think the book to movie is actually the best.
Well, I think they're just lazy about what they should do. Is if they did a game to movie, I mean a game to book, then the book should be really kick-ass and be, an amazing book. They got all this money, just throw a ton of money on it.
Mass Effect does a really good job with that.
Cool. All right.
Yeah, so, but if it's, I'd say a movie. Games to movies don't really do well. I mean, Super Mario Brothers, the movie, never really was good. Neither was Double Dragon.
But Super Mario didn't have quite as much storyline as more contemporary games did it?
Yeah, you're right. It wasn't a huge fleshed out world, but it had Dennis Hopper as Bowser.
I mean, what we're seeing now, I mean the game itself, like what we're seeing now in video games, there's much more of a storyline, much more character developed, and there seems to be much more in between the playing part of actual narrative going on, which Super Mario never really.
It seems really hard to get to those niche markets of the people playing the game to actually watch the movie too, though, and that seems to be a really big problem that Hollywood's facing. I mean, if it was for the best game to movie, I'd say actually Angry Birds Rio probably showed that you could actually make a successful game out of a movie. It's the only one to ever make more money than any other movie game because it actually has the characters from Rio in it, which is kind of interesting.
Yeah, it is really cool.
So, but, my preference, if I was to develop it, I'd probably want to do a movie to a game. That way it makes it easier because I can use their canon and then, manipulate it the way I want to.
Now, when you say canon, what does that mean?
Well, like their storylines and manipulate it, sort of things like that. But you got to make sure that you're on a page and you're telling a different story. Like you can have some of the similar characters, but if you're just replaying the entire movie again, nobody's going to want to play that.
That's boring.
Yeah, like
what would be awesome, and they've probably done this, is you have a movie, and then you have a game, and then you have a second movie, but you have to play the game to get the second movie. That would be awesome. Like the plot line and twist. And you're watching the second movie. So what's going on? Oh, you have to play the game. Don't you know this character? He's awesome. He killed a bunch of people, and that's why he's being chased by the. What? When did that happen?
The Matrix did do that, though. I mean, between the second movies, The Matrix Reloaded, I think it was. They had the game, and then after that, they had the second.
So they had characters from the game appear in the movie.
Yeah, I believe.
Was it those white Rastafarian dudes? Were they part of the game? Because they'd have been awesome in a game.
I think they were actually, but it was to show like that extra stuff that they couldn't show in the movie, and I think they did some of that stuff well. It's just that people weren't really into it, and
I just didn't get it. Yeah. It was one of those marketing
I
ideas.
I don't think people have really got behind the whole lore of being really that involved. I mean, books are kind of easier that way because if you like a book and you keep reading the series, you're going to keep being interested.
Yeah, well,
in
it's
it.
a story in a story, right?
Yeah.
I mean, a game is perceptually is different.
Yeah, it's more interactive. You want to have some kind of control over it, and if you're just kind of going through a linear experience, you're definitely going to be more dismayed with it. So,
yeah, good point. Yeah.
Huh. It has to be a little more freeform, and I think.
Well, then it's almost like you watch the movie. If you play the game without watching the movie, the game's a lot tougher because you can't really figure out the game. But if you watch the movie, you say, okay, there's some Easter eggs there, and I know how to get down this hole without getting killed.
That would be kind of cool. I think that would work.
So that there would be what did they call it? Spoilers. Spoilers would be in the movie. But if you didn't know what the spoilers were, you could never get through the game because it's like, well, this is an impossible level. So watch the movie.
You would never want to do that, though.
Like you just piss off people.
Yeah, you don't want to really piss off people, especially with.
The blue screen of death.
We just crashed the computer, but no big deal because we record separately, so it doesn't matter.
They're so amazing, and they never.
He's got a crappy old one.
Nothing. Oh, okay.
And he's also was running Windows at the time.
Yeah, exactly. Like you're just asking for trouble. So like Windows, that's crap software. No wonder.
That's why it's a good example of why you record into a digital recorder on a podcast because.
Yeah, but I mean, look what we're doing to this poor Mac. I mean, we're running it on Windows XP. It probably doesn't have enough RAM. And then we got like, all these cameras plugged into it, running some software, maxed out, and then
running video processing software with chroma key effects and everything.
Yeah, and then streaming live. It's like on a CPU that's geez, guys.
Yeah,
that's why we want to get a tower. Like an old CPU that's got some nice. No, it's not going to happen.
Yeah, I don't know.
Towers suck. You're not into towers. You're more
They're
Mr.
heavy.
Laptop.
I mean,
yeah,
I
know.
Really want to send Andrew walking around with a big tower?
No, we just keep it here. We just keep it here. We're just gonna have a crappy tower, and then nobody's gonna steal it.
Okay, that might work if you rebuild the tower.
Actually, what I'd like to do is take the tower, take the housing off of it,
Yeah.
and then take it outside, and then spray paint it, and drag it around, and kick it, and really make it look like a really lousy, beat up thing, and then put the housing back on, but have some real kick-ass interior.
We should
People look at it like, oh,
take
man,
that
that's a
pillar and just
old
turn
piece
it
of-
into one big
Yeah,
piece of
I
junk.
Like
I
the
like
hot rod
that, yeah.
approach, right? A sleeper.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So, it's probably got diseases. Don't touch it. He said, look, it's got moss growing on it. Come on, it can't be that good.
So, do you guys have any favorite movie/games or game/movies?
Hey, wasn't
the Mario
that
Brothers
zombie movie? That was a game, wasn't it?
Zombie movie?
They all is.
Yeah.
Well, they like all movies that. Yeah, they kind of like do. They're all the same.
Yeah, it was
right?
a movie. That one.
Oh, Resident Evil.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's
Yes.
a good example of one that was successful.
Yeah.
Hmm.
They've made how many? 4?
They did, yeah.
Yeah, well, I played the Star Wars games. I liked those back in the day.
The Lego games are always great too.
Yeah, I mean, this is pre-Lego.
Hey,
this
but
is
wasn't
like
that
way
Star Wars
back in the
game? Wasn't that a ripoff of Attack of the Mutant Camels?
You got me
Do you
there.
remember Attack
You
of
got
the
me
Mutant
there.
Camels?
Wow.
Yeah.
That's the first time I think I've been stumped by a game. I'm going to have to go look that one up.
Wow. And we will.
Attack of the Mutant Camels.
And you know
Yeah,
what?
there was these
We will
mutant
put that in the
camels
show
walking
notes.
Along, and then you'd have to shoot their legs out. And
Oh,
knock them
yeah,
down.
yeah, okay. I know
And then
what
they
you're
came
talking
out
about.
with the Star Wars one with the AT-ATs.
That-
It was exactly the same
George
thing.
Lucas loves ripping stuff off, so I wouldn't.
Well, it saves money, doesn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you know the old saying, like, good artists create, great artists steal. So.
Yeah. And amazing artists get away with it. Yeah. Or Hollywood artists get away with it.
Hollywood seems to like to.
Or an artist that's got lawyers get away with it.
Can we talk about some game that's kind of socially minded, though? Maybe.
Yeah. Which game are you talking
I was
about?
going to talk about Lady Gaga
Oh, yeah,
debuting
you wanna-
her first song
You
of her
just
new
love
album.
Lady Gaga. I've seen your house. He's got
Yeah, but
posters
she's-
everywhere. He's got
she's
Lady
teamed-
Gaga slippers. He's got a Lady Gaga dog, but it's stuffed. But if you kick it, it goes, Lady Gaga plays her songs, right? No, just kidding.
Yeah.
It's not that bad.
No, I'm really not into Lady Gaga.
He wants
that
to be
much.
that way, though.
But the thing is
Is she
she's-
sexy?
She is partnered with Zynga, which is the largest Facebook game provider, and this thing called Gagaville, which allows users to visit her farm and they get the first play of her new song. So I thought it was
cool.
quite an interesting
That's a nice
new
mix.
take on marketing.
Yeah.
Was instead of releasing it to mainstream radio outlets, she's going to go to the 100 million people that play Farmville
Makes sense.
and give them special access to it and also different things for their farm.
One thing that's to do with the mentality of the people who play that game, or the lack thereof.
What, Farmville?
Yeah, the people that play Farmville probably like Gaga.
Have you played Farmville, Tristan?
Very briefly.
And do you like Gaga?
I do like Lady Gaga.
Well, so
actually.
there's an anomaly right
Would
there.
you go play Farmville again just to get her song?
No,
first?
I'll just go on YouTube or a torrent site. And
You
figure out
can't
where
get
I can
it.
Steal
You can't get it off of any of that stuff.
Well, then
until-
I'll wait for it. I'm not such a huge Lady Gaga fan. that
have to play the
have
game.
I have to be the first to have heard the song, so I can tell all my friends about it and tell them what I think and tell them that I.
No, but he's talking about a game. He's talking about a game, right? That's
Yeah, but
different.
it's still
that's
kind of cool.
It is pretty.
It-
No, I
it's a
think
nice
it's a great
twist.
concept, but I personally wouldn't like
Me
go.
either.
Yeah, like if it was about
I
cocktails,
wouldn't
he'd
either,
be
but-
all over it.
And even for stuff I really really like, I've never been one of those people that gets really insanely into it and collecting everything.
Except for
Now,
cocktails.
if it was
Except for cocktails, come on.
Except for I'll collect cocktails.
And
I'll collect
boats.
them right
if
here.
and
it was
boats.
a Def
Yeah, exactly.
Leppard song, I would play.
Def Leppard.
Just to get the Def Leppard song.
What has
Oh,
8
yeah, for
arms and
sure.
sucks?
Not Def Leppard.
Ouch!
Ouch, that's an old
seven?
joke.
That was
Wasn't
like
it seven?
Zappa.
Oh yeah, 7
No,
arms.
but
and
You
sucks.
got it. You got the joke totally wrong.
I'm
joke
ill
was,
informed and nasally.
What has
today.
8 arms and rocks?
Def Leppard.
And by the way,
Hey, did you know
arms.
that Def Leppard was on
9 arms.
Celebrity Apprentice
they're
next week?
going to be
No
next week.
way.
Or they're
Yeah.
not going to show up. I don't know.
Who knows?
Yeah, those artists, they're so independable.
Never mind, you're fired. They
undependable.
didn't make it past the interview.
They didn't even turn up, and they beat up the producer. Yeah, that's excellent, man. That's a great way to get
That's
into
good
Pretenders.
promotional stuff for a rock band.
Hey, didn't what's his name? The guy
He's
with that
with-
bad hairpiece ran for president, and now he's kind
He's-
of backing out of that.
No, Trump hasn't run for president.
Speaking of Zynga, though,
Yeah.
if gambling gets legalized in the U.S., they're going to be one profitable company with all those Facebook poker users.
Totally.
Oh my
What's
gosh!
the likelihood of that happening?
Zero.
They're looking at it.
Well, they can play it in Vegas, though, can't they?
If they
Well-
can charge enough.
The thing is they want to make sure that if they're going to do it, it's going to be
Taxable.
yeah, And the reason
That'll
that they
kill
didn't like that before was they were using American currency to use on, European or American poker sites that had, their
Sounds like
accounts
a money
outside.
laundering, yeah.
Well, no, I don't know. I can't
Well,
necessarily.
the problem is
speak
the
to
U.S.
that.
money isn't worth that much anymore, so,
That actually really helps for other people. Actually,
Dude, how you doing, man?
yeah.
Look at he bought his guitar. Outstanding. You going to play us a tune today?
I might, if you got something pretty to say.
Well, okay. You look pretty.
Go Canucks,
Is
go. I don't know.
Hey, how are those hockey guys doing? Okay. How are the hockey guys doing? Okay. 6-0. It's like
7-3.
7-3. Holy cow! They just plastered them all over the ice.
Yeah, them knuckleheads, you never know.
Yeah, exactly. Ooh, watch that guitar, dude.
Want a new guitar tonight? It's Mike and Brad, right?
No,
Yeah,
it's,
yep,
yeah,
Mike
that's
and
it. Mike
Brad.
and Brad.
The Mike and Brad
show. Dude, hey, I'm Mike. He's Brad. Dude, is that for a harmonica or is that so you don't fall over?
I thought you guys wanted me to play tonight.
Yeah. So you gonna do some harmonica? You can do blues or Def Leppard. Can you do some Def Leppard?
Hey, maybe what we'll do.
Actually, you got like a Rastafarian hat. They got a Rastafarian hat on, dude. What's with that?
Walk for the patio.
Yeah. Okay, you just. All right. So, all right. So the Mike
what
and
we're-
Brad show will be
what
right
we'll-
back.
What we'll do in the Mike and Brad show is
We are
is,
live across the nation here.
because the
Mike and
computer
Brad.
crashed.
Awesome. He's an awesome guy.
Because the computer crashed, we'll get him to play out the outro,
That's a good idea.
and we'll close off the show like that.
I like
How's
Oh
that?
yeah.
And,
Well,
uh,
I think you should
we
play
get
and
a-
ask questions.
An acoustic version of the
Bunker
of the
Project show?
podcast of the Bunker Show.
Nah,
theme.
I think
The
that's
Mike
way
and
too
Brad
technical.
show.
I think it's gonna be hard enough to get him to stand near a mic, guys. He's like way over there. He's gonna
Wait a-
bring all his equipment back over where the mics are.
So let's go back to this poker thing. If Zynga ends up being a poker giant, that would be a huge boon for them. But
Yeah, but
the
it's not-
likelihood of the poker laws
Highly
going through
unlikely. Yeah.
seems really low, considering that
let-
their ban was like 2006 of online gambling.
Yeah, it's
I don't know.
It's too recent.
I think there's a chance.
You're supposed to use it here in BC too. You're supposed to go to Play Now and use their stuff, but they only have a PC client. They don't have a Mac client. So if you're looking to play poker,
yeah.
can't
All
really
right.
keep it in the province. Who knows?
He's brought a second drink with him.
Let me ask you something about these poker games. So
That's
right
scary.
now, as it stands, these games you're basically playing with,
Real money.
but you're not playing with real money right now.
If
are
you are you talking America or Canada?
America.
Okay, so in America you can't because you said
You're
you
not
It's
can't.
allowed to use
implied money.
Yeah,
in
you're
the
not.
United States.
It's
You're not allowed to
okay.
use an American bank account. Yeah.
So what they can do just to kind
How
of
real is money?
Oh,
it's very real and it's very
I know
dangerous.
if you don't come to this bar, I
how
gotta get a shot
real
of this. This
is
is unreal.
money?
I'm not paying your tab if that's what you mean. that real.
I won the lottery.
All right, so you gonna play over there?
So you take
Dude.
all these people
Hang
who
on.
have already engaged
Kevin.
That's it. He's tuning his guitar.
the
man.
poker game.
Yeah.
We'll keep the show going. You
Okay.
guys
Yeah.
do
Go
what you
ahead.
gotta do.
Go ahead, Tristan.
Uh,
this is the James and Tristan show now. All right.
You've got this.
The Mike and Brad
You've
show
got this
sucks.
whole list
Yeah.
that have subscribed to your game through Facebook and are playing poker with fake money.
Yeah. It's all fake money.
And
this
as soon
thing
as
does,
the
yeah.
government decides, hey, we're going to make this legal,
you could use
now
Facebook
they
credits
just-
to buy it.
they just turn a light
They
switch
could.
and say, okay, now you can buy real
The
credits.
question is would Facebook go with that?
Oh, absolutely! If they can get a piece of the action.
It doesn't matter if Facebook does or not because Zynga has the users,
That's true, actually.
and
Zynga
only a
has
small
made it,
percentage
Can-
of people
I-
are
you know,
actually
I
going to
was-
play real poker anyways.
and you make
Out
a
of
good
their total user base, but it's still going to be worth billions.
And Andrew makes a great point there about how Zynga has been trying to get more and more people away from Facebook and more to go and engage with their games on the actual website instead.
So you don't have to play it through Facebook.
No, you could go to all their games are available on their website. You actually get some rewards. This Rewardville is what they call it.
Okay.
So yeah, if they flip the switch, then Zynga would be super excited about it. There's like,
And knowing how Facebook wants to take over the world,
Mhm.
along with Google,
Mhm.
and they're competing for that right. What are they doing to stop these Zynga from driving traffic away from Facebook, or can they?
nothing really. I mean, they could. Yeah, it's a very good question.
And they're not
Why-
going to shut down their games or their apps and say we're going to shut you down and we're not going to let you engage through Facebook anymore.
They probably just love the pay-per-click that they get anyways from
Yeah.
Zynga. So, it's a good relationship with them right now. Maybe Zynga invests in Facebook, Facebook invests in Zynga.
Right.
They're probably buddies.
It's like, I don't like you, but as long as you keep paying the rent, we'll let you keep
Totally.
showing up.
I mean, that they probably weren't very happy about the game requests and things like that Facebook did changes on, but they lived with it and they kept their viral marketing going. And it's just a very forward-thinking game company. It's kind of surprising. So
You ready to bipolar?
I don't know if this is in the show notes or not, or if this has been already discussed, but there's a big hearing coming up on the 19th in the U.S.
yeah,
Senate hearing. I believe it's a Senate hearing. Have you heard of this?
Senate hearing for
There's
what?
a rep from Google, Facebook, and I think from
Smart guy.
Apple, all speaking in front of Senate House Committee in the U.S. I think I got that right.
His name is
Yeah.
Basically discussing privacy, what they do with
Wonderful,
private information
beautiful.
and how it's handled and such.
Okay, well, why don't we
Talk
bring
about
that
that
up
show
in the
too.
next show? All right, let's.
You ready, Dad?
Yeah,
Okay, so we're gonna close out the show with your song.
So yeah, it's kind of about consumerism.
Excellent.
Okay, so we got Kevin here, and this song is about consumerism. All right, let's do it.
Well, it's all here, waiting for you. Well, it's here to light up your day. Fast, free delivery. If you got the proof, you can pay. When I had a credit card given to me, it came direct in the mail. I indulged in some luxuries. Now they say I might go to jail, but I've got the consumer blues. You can be consumptive too. The last time you bought new shoes, good shoes were meant for walking away from shoe salesman barking. There's a forest on the edge of this town. Another forest that they're cutting down. Okay, let's talk shop now.
All right, thanks, Kevin, and we'll see you again next week on the Bunker Show.
We still talk shop, though, can't we? But the great work you men